On March 28, 2011, a man named Kurt decided to go for a walk. He didn't have a quest, he didn't have a map, and he didn't have a destination. At least, not a sane one. He just picked a direction, west, and started holding down the W key. His goal was to reach the edge of the world, a place called the Farlands. The problem is, the Farlands are 12 million meters away. It is a journey that mathematically shouldn't be possible. It requires walking the equivalent of the entire Earth twice. Most people quit a game after, let's say, 50 hours. Kurt? Well, he has been walking for 10 years. He has walked through college degrees, through presidents, through pandemics. He is still walking today. He is the loneliest pilgrim in digital history. But why? Why dedicate a decade of your actual human life to walking in a straight line inside a machine? Is he looking for an ending, or is he running away from one? Hello. Apparently, I'm lucky. And today, let's talk about the man who refused to stop walking. To understand why a man would spend a decade holding the W key, we first have to understand the monster waiting for him at the finish line. When you spawn into a world like Minecraft, you start at coordinate 0. This is the holy land of the simulation. Here, the map is safe. The computer is happy. It has plenty of memory to calculate the position of every single pixel, every blade of glass, and every block with microscopic perfection. The illusion of reality is total. But here's the unfortunate truth about your console. It is not a god. It is an overworked accountant with a very small notepad. I'm gonna simplify this for you. The computer uses a system called floating point math to track where you are. Think of it like writing a number on a piece of paper that is only 3 inches wide. When you are close to the center, the numbers are small, like 10.55. So there is plenty of room for decimal places. You get high precision. But as Kurt walks west, the numbers get bigger. 10 becomes 10,000, then 10 million. Suddenly, the accountant runs out of paper. To make room for the massive location numbers on the left, he has to start erasing the precise decimal numbers on the right. The computer essentially says, look, I can tell you that you are 12 million miles away, or I can tell you exactly where your foot is. I cannot do both. This is called floating point imprecision, and as Kurt gets closer to the edge, the universe starts to have a panic attack, let's say. At 100,000 blocks, nothing happens. At 1 million blocks, the texture might flicker. But at 12 million blocks, the math gives up entirely. The noise map, the code that generates the hills and valleys, overflows its memory buffer. The gentle, rolling landscape of the game stops generating and is replaced by a massive, distorted wall of perforated terrain that stretches up to the sky and down to the bedrock. They call this the Farlands. It looks like a virus. It looks like the code is screaming. It is a chaotic Swiss cheese purgatory where the laws of physics are replaced by the laws of rounding errors. Most players would see this wall of glitchy static and turn off the game, terrified that their graphics card was melting. But Kurt isn't walking away from it. He is walking towards it. He is a pilgrim, marching from the safety of order into the absolute maw of chaos. And the terrifying thing is not that the Farlands exist. The terrifying thing is realizing that the normal world back at spawn was just a temporary bubble of stability. We think this simulation is solid, but really, we are just standing in a small spotlight of math, surrounded by an infinite ocean of errors waiting to swallow us whole. Now, you might be thinking, okay, it's a long walk. Big deal. Put on a podcast and hold down the W key. But you are underestimating the sheer crushing weight of the number 12 million. Kurt isn't just playing Minecraft, he is playing a version of Minecraft that effectively no longer exists. To reach the Farlands, he has to stay in beta version 1.7.3, a build from 2011. Think about what that means. While the rest of the world gets updated with dragons, flying ships, underwater temples, and complex trading economies, Kurt locked himself in a time capsule. He is walking through a ghost world. There is no sprinting, there is no hunger bar, there is no end game. There is just a crunch of grass, the square sun, and the endless procedural generation of hills that look exactly like the hills he passed 3 years ago. It is the digital equivalent of being a monk in a silent monastery, except his monastery is infinite and made of dirt. And he isn't entirely alone. He has a dog, Wolfie. In any other playthrough, a dog is a disposable NPC. Don't quote me on that. But when you have been walking for a decade with only one companion, that pile of pixels becomes Wilson from Castaway. The stakes become terrifyingly high. If Wolfie falls into lava or glitches into a wall, the journey isn't over, but the sanity might be. This is where the game stops being a game and turns into a performance art piece about absurdity. How amazing is that? We are used to games that bomb us with dopamine. We are rats in a Skinner box, frantically pushing the button for a pellet. Kurt has been pushing the button for 10 years and there is no pellet. He walks. He camps, he hides from skeletons and zombies, he walks again. It is, again, the myth of Sisyphus. But instead of rolling a boulder up a hill, he is generating the hill over and over again, forever. And yet, hundreds of thousands of people watch him do it. Why? I think it's because we are jealous of the focus. In a world where our attention spans are being shredded by 15-second videos and constant notifications, there is something hypnotic about a man who has committed himself to a singular, useless task. He has turned the most popular game in history into a meditation on patience. He is proving that you don't need a quest marker to find meaning. You just need a direction, a dog, and the stubborn refusal to let the silence win. How human is that? As the years pass, the silence is getting louder. Because as he's getting further west, the ghost in the machine is starting to wake up. There is a law in storytelling. The closer you get to the truth, the harder the world tries to stop you. In myth, you have guardians, dragons, and riddles. In Minecraft, you have the jitter, and also this door blocking you from the truth. As Kurt crosses the milestone of a few million bucks, the game engine stops being passive and starts getting aggressive. Remember the overworked accountant? Well, at this distance, he isn't just running out of paper. He has started day drinking. He can no longer calculate smooth movement. He can only calculate steps. This phenomena is called Farlands or the jitter, depending on the version. But for Kurt, it manifests as a loss of self-control. When he tries to walk in a straight line, the game pushes him sideways. The camera starts to shudder. The character model begins to vibrate violently, like it's freezing to death, or like reality is losing its grip on its atoms. Imagine trying to walk down a hallway, but the floor is shifting 2 feet to the left every time you blink. This turns a peaceful hike into a nauseating battle for control. Every step requires micro adjustments. If he isn't careful, the jitter will drift him off a cliff or push him into a pool of lava. The safe zone of the game is actively rejecting him. It feels like an immune response. The code knows he isn't supposed to be this far out. He is a foreign body in a system that wasn't designed to host him, and the universe is trying to sneeze him out. And this is where the journey turns from impressive to obsessive. Most of us play games for control. I play games for control. We press a button and the character obeys. But Kurt is playing a game where the controls are dissolving. He is fighting the entropy of the software itself. And yet, he keeps walking west. He has to compensate for the drift manually. He has to trust that the ground will be solid when he lands. And the worst part is, the Farlands, that massive glitchy walls of glory, are still 10 years away. He's enduring the breakdown of physics, not because he is there, but just to earn the right to get there. If you look at the map, this journey is a tragedy. After 10 years of walking, Kurt is currently about halfway there. If he keeps up his current pace, he won't reach the Farlands until roughly 2038. That is a terrifying sentence to read. It means he will have spent nearly 30 years of his life walking to a glitch. In the gaming world, we are obsessed with speedruns. We worship players who can dismantle a game's code and reach the credits in 12 minutes. We love efficiency. We love optimization. We want to consume the content and move on to the next thing. Kurt is doing the opposite. He is performing the world's first slow run. He is rejecting the urge to finish. He is rejecting the dopamine spike of the win state. He has taken a medium designed for instant gratification and turned it into a multi-generational project. And you know what the strangest part is? The world didn't get bored. We started building a cathedral around him. Over the last decade, this useless walk has raised nearly $500,000 for charity. By simply pressing W and talking about Star Trek or the weather, Kurt has bought toys for sick kids, founded hospitals, and genuinely made the world a better place. He turned the most solitary, pointless act imaginable, walking alone into a digital void, into a massive act of communal hope. There is a profound irony here. We usually play video games to escape reality, but Kurt's walk has become so long that he has survived reality. Think about who you were 10 years ago. Think about the friends you've lost, the jobs you've quit, the versions of yourself that have died. The world outside has been chaotic, loud, and terrifying. But inside the screen, the sun rises, the sun sets, Wolfie barks, Kurt walks west. It has become a constant. In a culture where everything changes every 5 seconds, there is a melancholy comfort in knowing that somewhere on a server running software from 2011, a man is still walking towards the edge of the world. He proved that the meaning of a game doesn't come from the developers. It doesn't come from the ending cutscene. It comes from the sheer, stubborn refusal to quit. We aren't watching him because we want to see the Farlands. We can just Google a picture of them. We're watching him because we want to see if he can actually do it. We're watching to see if the human spirit is stronger than the floating point error. One day, probably around the year 2038, Kurt will press W for the last time. The jitter will be unbearable. The movement will be a slideshow. But finally, through the fog of rendering errors, he will see it. The massive wall of the Farlands. The place where the algorithm finally choked on its own ambition. He will walk up the wall. He might touch a block. The chat will explode. The news outlets will write articles. A journey of 30 years will end in a single moment of contact. And then, nothing. The credits won't roll. There is no cutscene where Nutch descends from the heavens to hand him a gold medal. The game won't congratulate him. It will just sit there, broken, vibrating, and indifferent. And this brings us back to the original question. Why? Why walk to the end of the world if there is nothing there but a wall of glitchy bedrock? Because the Farlands are the ultimate kill screen. In arcade games, a kill screen is what happens when you play so well that the code runs out of logic. You beat the machine by outlasting it. You force the universe to admit it has a limit. We are obsessed with limits. We climb Everest because it's there. We dive into the Mariana Trench because it's deep. We walk to the Farlands because they are far. We are terrified that our reality is small, that our lives are boxed in by invisible walls. So when we see a glitch, when we see the seams of the universe tearing apart, we don't look away, we stare at it. We march toward it. We want to prove that we are bigger than the box we were put in. Kurt's journey isn't a gameplay walkthrough. It is a 30-year argument against nihilism. It is a man saying, I know this world is fake. I know the horizon is a skybox. I know the math says I shouldn't be here, but I am going to walk anyway. And maybe that's the point. We don't walk to the edge of the world to find a treasure. We walk to the edge of the world to see if we can survive the journey. The coordinates where reality dies are terrifying. Yes, the math breaks, the physics fail, the void opens up, but the player keeps walking. And as long as you are holding down that key, the game isn't over. As of the recording of this video, Kurt is still out there. He is somewhere around the 50% mark. The jitter is getting worse. The math is getting heavier. But every few months, he turns on his camera, loads up the ghost of 2011, and takes another few thousand steps west. It's strange, isn't it? We spent this entire video talking about a game that is literally falling apart. A world where the ground is broken, the physics are drunk, and the destination is a wall of ugly, distorted noise. And yet, it feels more real than most of the AAA games coming out today. Because in a modern game, everything is designed to be consumed. The quests are checklists. The map is a menu. You are a tourist in a theme park, but Kurt isn't a tourist. He is an explorer. He found the one thing that modern gaming and maybe modern life tries very hard to hide from us: a frontier. We proved that even in a digital world, you can still go off the map. You can still do something that no one else has ever done simply by refusing to stop walking when the road runs out. So, let's say the next time you feel like you're just grinding through the emotions or that you're stuck in a loop, remember the man walking to the Farlands. Remember that the glitch isn't an error. It's just what happens when you push boundaries that weren't meant to be pushed. Go find your own edge, and when the universe starts to jitter, don't you dare turn back. Now, Kurt is the man who refused to stop walking, but there is another side to this coin. What about the player who walked all the way to the end and then refused to finish? If you want to understand the psychology of the fear of the endings and why we sometimes leave our heroes standing at the final door forever, you should watch this video right here. Stay lucky.